In today's video, I wanted to talk about the Portland Trailblazers and the prospect of them being a playoff team in the Western Conference. I believe, based on the power rankings that I did, that the Portland Trailblazers would actually be missing the playoffs in the West. But simultaneously, it was, I think I also put them like 16th or 15th on the list. So, like, being a team that misses the playoffs in the Western Conference is still better than being a playoff team at the bottom of the Eastern standings. Regardless, it did have them missing it, but being a play-in tier team. I think I even did the sim of the play-in team when I did my predicting the championship video over on Rusty Buckets, and I had them losing in the play-in. But regardless, I do think there is a lot of reason to be pretty high on the Trailblazers this year. Hello everybody, welcome to Little Rusty Buckets. Subscribe to the channel and drop a like on this video. Trying to hit 40k subs over here, so that subscription would be much appreciated. Frankly, if this was an Eastern Conference team, I wouldn't even have this as a question. If they were in that barrel of competition, I would be like, yeah, basically, unless they get some major injuries, I would be shocked if they were not a playoff team in the East. But the West, of course, is a bloodbath, and there's reason to believe that this will be the toughest Western Conference in quite a while, because Houston, they obviously have the Fred VanVleet situation they need to figure out, but if they can either trade for a point guard or Reed Shepherd just ends up being that dude, whichever it ends up being, the Houston Rockets should be quite the powerhouse. And then, of course, you have the Thunder and the Nuggets. And then there's still some pretty damn good borderline contenders in the Lakers and the Clippers below that. So the West is a pain in the ass. So that is a big hurdle to get over. So bear that in mind as I go over the rest of this. The big thing that stands out to me for the Portland Trailblazers is two things: their defense and their depth. This is a team that should be phenomenal on the defensive end. Now, I believe in, I want to say February or March of last year, they had a top 5 defense in the NBA. They had like a 16-8 record or something like that. That seems like too many games for a month, but I know it was like a 60+% win percentage. But that fell off as they got closer towards the end of the season, which I would argue that was more so them being like, yeah, we're not making a playoff push, so let's get some L's here so we can get a better draft pick. As always, I ask that you bear with me when it comes to draft prospects, because I really don't know shit about them until they are in the NBA. Oh, well, they drafted Cedric Coward and then traded him to the Grizzlies. Oh, Yang Hansen. It's fucking Yang Hansen. What's wrong with me? I actually know him. God, my brain is deteriorating slowly. I have Joe Bidenism. So they have a ton of depth. Forgive me for that. They have a bunch of depth at basically every position at that. So presumably their starting lineup will be Scoot Henderson, Drew Holiday, Denny Avdia, at power forward, probably Kamara and Donovan Clingan. Off of the bench, won't have Dame this year, but they have Robert Williams, depending on how much he plays, Jeremy Grant, Shaedon Sharpe, and Yang Hansen, who I think could do some level of contributing day one. Duop Reith is also like a solid enough rotation player. So like there is enough here that you can really have like a strong 10-man rotation. Your backup big is either Hansen or it is one of the best defensive bigs in the entire NBA and Robert Williams. Either way, I think you're doing some pretty good stuff. I am a big fan of Donovan Clingan because he is just a beast defensively. He's also absolutely massive. He's 7'2", 280 pounds. Denny Avdia is a very good all-around player. Jeremy Grant, I think he needs to have a degree of buy-in in order for this to work, because he was kind of bad last year. Shaedon Sharpe has had a pretty interesting, pretty good regular preseason rather for the Trailblazers, putting up some pretty damn good numbers. Hopefully this could be the year that he puts it together as a scorer, because he has had like good numbers for his career. In fact, I believe he's like, yeah, he averaged 18.5 last year, but his 3-ball has steadily gotten worse as his career has began, while his attempts have steadily gone up. So that's not exactly ideal, although he did have a much better year on his 2-pointers. I'm a big fan of Sharpe. He's super athletic. His jump shot form looks really, really good. He looks like a player who should be able to shoot very well, but to this point that has not materialized. So like there is a good amount of potential that is being banked on here. Kamara is one of the best defenders in the NBA. I think Clingan will be one of the best rim protectors in the NBA. Denny is a really good defender. Drew Holiday is Drew Holiday, man. Like, they added that to a defense that was already top 5 when they were all locked in together that 1 month, whether it was February or March, I can't remember specifically. So they have, to me, the makings of a great defense. This is going to be one of the best defensive starting lineups in the NBA. And again, they have a lot of depth. What I think will determine if the Trailblazers are a playoff level team in the West or not is how good their offense can be. Last year, their offense was not very good. They ranked 23rd out of 30, which is bottom 10 if you could not put that together. Sometimes I like to say the obvious thing out loud. A lot of this hinges on Scoot Henderson and his development. You also lost DeAndre Ayton, which I know people love to dunk on DeAndre Ayton, but DeAndre Ayton was a good source of offense on that team. And you're going to Donovan Clingan, who you could argue just by the virtue of the fact that he won't demand certain possessions, that he won't get post-ups and stuff like that, that offense could be more of a team approach rather than give the ball to Ayton and get out of the way type shit. Not that is a very high volume play for them last year, but it certainly happened enough. But they don't have that scoring punch. Jeremy Grant, as I mentioned, has declined a little bit, especially in this last year. I think Scoot Henderson needs some kind of leap on the offensive end in order for him to be like that on that end of the floor. In order for the Blazers to be like that on that end of the floor. Last year, his numbers did get better from his overall kind of disappointing rookie season. He went from 32% from 3 to 35, and he went from 41% on his 2-pointers to 47%. 35% from 3 and 47% from the field is still not very good. So it's not very good. Also, he did see a 5% dip in his free throw percentage, and his points per game actually went down. He did move down his turnovers enough. So I would say he improved last year, but I also wouldn't say it's oh man, Scoot Henderson is ramped up and ready for a huge breakout in his 3rd year. So if he's an 18-7 guy next year, I think that's really all that it would take. I'm not asking the guy to make an all-star leap. I'm just asking for him to be one of the better starting point guards in the NBA. And if he could be that, I think that brings the rest of the offense a long way. Drew Holiday brings to the table a lot as a secondary playmaker. Hopefully he can find that corner 3 that he lost in his 2nd year in Boston. I think Kamara, as good as he is defensively, I do feel like he kind of gets overshadowed for how capable he is on offense, because last year he shot 38% from 3 on 4.5 attempts per game. Also a pretty damn good fast break guy, transition player and all of that. So I do think there is enough reason to be they could get to the point of being on the top half, or at the very least the 18th best offense in the NBA, while they could very well be one of the 5 best defenses in the NBA. So yeah, I think the Trailblazers could be a playoff team. I am entirely banking it on the offense, however. If the offense doesn't end up being notably improved, I don't think it's going to get it done, but they will at the very least be significantly more competitive throughout this year. I think they found their stride towards the end of last year, and I think that wasn't them getting hot at a certain time. I think that was reflective of their capabilities going forward. So offensively, have a lot of questions. I don't know how they're going to enter this category of being one of the best. I didn't even mention Denny Avdia is also a phenomenal playmaker. So between him, Scoot, and Drew Holiday, you should have enough there. In the playmaking department, the 3-point shooting, little iffy. Kamara can hit him. Grant can hit him. Denny can hit him. Drew Holiday should be able to hit them. Again, he had that down year. And Sharp's the highest volume 3-point shooter on this team while being a 31% shooter. So that is also a factor. How good can their shooting be? They got enough playmaking. They got enough defense. They got plenty of depth. It's just a matter of that scoring. Just a matter of that offense. Just a matter of the 3-point shooting. But yeah, that is it. Let me know what you think of Portland this year. They're one of those teams in my I don't know category, which I've been trying to use more because I feel a pressure as a content creator to have more definitive opinions. But the truth of the matter is predictions and shit are kind of pointless. You don't really know what's happening until it's happening.